Hi friends. See, I just want to ask you one question. Who was the major god during the Aryan civilization? Or whom did the Aryans worship? Which was the major god over there? Even today in Hinduism, or even today in the major religions, what we consider, which natural force we consider as a major god? It is the sun. Surya Bhagwan, sun, or the sun god. Now, why the sun god is such an important god, or why is the sun god was given such an important place, especially in the Aryan civilization? Because it was the solar energy which drives the sum of the important phenomena on the surface of the earth. In fact, the entire energy system in the earth is driven by the amount of solar energy. It is the difference in the amount of solar energy which will drive the winds. It is the difference in the amount of solar energy which drives the ocean currents. It is the difference in the solar energy which drives the climatic pattern. It is the solar energy which plants take up as photosynthesis, converts the solar energy into chemical energy, and which then substitutes, or which then provides food to the plants, and it is one of the important level in the basic or food chain or energy pyramid in the ecosystem, because the plants form the base of a food chain. So the solar energy or the sun's energy is the one of the most important driving force, and our topic is insolation today. That is, what is the insolation? Again, a simple topic. And the importance of this topic lies in more of an understanding of the process of insolation rather than any kind of an questions based, especially in the mains examination, except one question: explain the heat budget, or what are the various factors affecting the insolation. So what is this insolation? This insolation is nothing but incident solar radiation. It is the amount of solar energy which is reaching the surface of the earth, and we have taken insolation. We have taken the insolation, and hence the amount of incident solar energy, or the amount of solar energy which is received, or amount of heat from the sun which is received on the surface of the earth, we call it as an insolation. It is nothing but a short form of incident solar radiation. Now, what does this, as I have told you, this is a topic which we are dealing with, the amount of insolation and variation in the insolation. Now, one thing you remember, we are not dealing with the heat. We are not dealing with the temperature here. Here we are dealing only with the insolation. Temperature is the next topic, because the amount of insolation is one of the basic requirement for obviously temperature. जितना ज़्यादा sun का energy होगा, उतना ज़्यादा temperature होगा. But the temperature, what is the difference between the temperature and insolation? Temperature is the visible heat, or the heat which you can feel, and it differs from insolation, though it is directly proportional to insolation. But there are different factors also for heat energy. Heat is the amount of heat energy which drives the different climatic forces. One of the principal source of heat energy is the insolation. I am saying the one of the principal source. That means there are some other sources of heat energy. What are the other sources? The heat on the surface of the earth is received, or earth receives the heat from solar radiation, endogenetic forces, and gravity. Heat is the form of an energy which is received, the heat is received from the insolation or solar radiation, gravity, and endogenetic forces. But obviously, even looking at these three sources, you can tell me which is the most important source of heat energy. Is it gravity? Is it endogenetic forces or is it solar radiation? It is obviously the solar radiation, and this solar radiation is our most important source of heat on the surface of the earth. So remember, for the preliminary point of view, that earth receives the heat from solar energy, solar radiation, endogenetic forces and gravity, out of which the solar radiation is the most important one. And why it is the most important one? Because it is the solar radiation is the most significant source. Why? Because it is the sun. Why it is the most significant source? Because the sun is the most important heat engine. The sun is the most important heat engine which drives the winds, the ocean currents. It drives the winds, ocean currents, sustains and other denudation forces, or the different kind of forces, sustains life on the earth. Of earth. Why it is sustains life on the surface of the earth? Because during photosynthesis, solar energy is converted to chemical energy. Which forms the food for the plants, and plants occupy most important position in food chain. That is, they form the base of a food chain, and from this base of a food chain, it is upwards we get that the plants, herbivorous animals, then the carnivorous animals. This is how we get the plants which are producers, then we have consumer, primary consumer, then we have secondary consumer, then we have tertiary consumer. Thus the energy from the plants is taken by consumers, the primary consumer, then by the secondary consumer, and then by the tertiary consumer. This is just a topic of environment ecology, so or of a biosphere, which I will cover later on, so I am not taking it in detail here. So what you have to remember here is that the solar radiation is one of the most important source of heat energy. Or what is the principal force for driving the winds or ocean currents? That is, winds or ocean currents travel from high pressure zones to the low pressure zone. Winds, this is, and the winds affect winds put the frictional force on the oceans, resulting into formation of ocean currents and waves. Sea waves are formed due to the frictional force of the wind. So what is this driving force? If the question comes in the examination, then the driving force is the solar radiation or insolation, or any kind of or we can say sun's radiation. Now, how is this solar radiation generated, or from where does this energy comes in the solar radiation, or what is the mechanism for the solar radiation, or we can say what is the mechanism? And as this, you must be knowing the mechanism of the solar radiation, or the mechanism for the insolation is the fusion process. Nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion is the process of solar radiation, and that is why we say that in the nuclear fusion, we want to create a nuclear fusion reactor. Our nuclear reactors generally work on fission, but India and many countries are working on the nuclear fusion technology. In fact, the Aditya reactor is a prototype reactor for nuclear fusion technology. Nuclear fusion technology, because unlimited amount of energy can be created from the nuclear fusion process. As how unlimited amount of energy? Because this is the same process which takes place on the in the interior of the sun, when the helium is converted to hydrogen in the interior of the sun through the process known as a nuclear fusion. And by this nuclear fusion, that is why we want to use this to create the energy on the surface of the earth. And as you know, nuclear energy is a clean energy, and therefore there will not be a problem of a pollution or whatever is associated with today's coal sector based energy or today's fossil fuel based energy. Okay. Also, India lying in the tropical region. India is a country which lies in the tropics. We have huge potential for trapping the solar energy through the process of either solar cells or the solar photovoltaic cells or the solar batteries. But the problem is DC to AC conversion, which is done through solar inverters. And the second problem is the solar energy is costly because it requires large amount of panels, solar panels, to trap that heat, and this panel's lining has to be of a silver or copper which can conduct very easily, and these are precious metals or these are costly metals. So as of now, the renewable solar energy is a costly energy, but that is going to be the future. And if we miss on the future, that India, because it lies in the tropical zone, then it is going, because India is a power hungry country. We require lot amount of power, not in the terms of a political power. Here also we are a political power hungry, but even in the terms of infrastructure related power, because our power is sustained by the imports. We import most of 80% of fossil fuels, that is petroleum products, we import, and that is inflating our bills. Matlab, we are paying our money to some other country. That is why the amount of rupee is lying low, or it is causing large amount of deficit. Means trade imbalance ho raha hai, because we have to import large amount of fossil fuels. So what is the next source? The next source is India is lying in the tropical region, trap the solar energy, and that is going to be the future. We are working on it. The government is working on it, and you must be knowing the name of a program. It is the Jawaharlal Nehru Solar Mission, and look at what the mission wants to say. Search it on Wikipedia, search it on or you can just look at the energy chapter in the India yearbook, or you can look at any other lecture series. That is what is this Jawaharlal Nehru Solar Renewable Mission project. So back to the insolation, that is coming back to geography. How is this mechanism of insolation? It is when hydrogen is converted to helium through the process of nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion in the interior of the earth, in the interior of the sun. Releasing large amount of energy. So what happens in the interior of the sun? You remember that hydrogen is converted to helium through the process of a nuclear fusion. And because me as who is preparing for civil services examination, your next work, though it is not my topic, is to find the difference between nuclear fusion, nuclear fission. What is the source? The source, one of the biggest source is Google, and if you don't want to Google, the next best source is the NCERT books. So that in fact in Google there is a chance that you may lose the process, you may go too much deep, but whatever is you required is present in the NCERT science books of 9th and 10th standard. So you can look at the process, you should know the difference between fusion and fission. Coming back again to geography, how is the insolation process? It occurs when the hydrogen is converted through helium through the process of a nuclear fusion. As a result, large amount of energy is released. In fact, the amount of insolation reaching the Earth's surface is more or less constant. Therefore known as solar constant. Therefore known as solar constant, whose value is 2 gram calories per centimeter square per minute. What is the value of a solar constant? It is 2 calories per square centimeter per minute. This is the amount of solar energy which is constantly received on the surface of the earth, and it is 2 calories per square centimeter per minute. This 2 calories per square centimeter per minute is also expressed as, it is known as Langley. Therefore we can say it as 2 Langley per minute. This is the amount of solar constant which comes on the surface of the earth, that is the 2 Langley, 2 Langley per minute. This is the amount of solar energy which receives the solar constant. Now this is the solar constant and you should know this figure by heart, that is it is 2 Langley per minute, or which means 2 calories per square centimeter per minute. Now if somebody asks you that what is the form of a solar radiation? Does it comes in the form of a short waves, or does it come in the form of a long waves? That means what is the wavelength of a solar radiation? Then what is the wavelength of a solar radiation, and what does the solar radiation consist of? Now come to your physics part. You must have known the Wien's displacement law. Now what does this Wien's displacement law says? That it says that wavelength is inversely proportional. It is not directly proportional, it is inversely proportional to the absolute temperature of, or we can say, yes, wavelength is inversely proportional to temperature of emitting body. To the temperature of an emitting body. And obviously the temperature of emitting body here, the emitting body is sun, which is having very, very high temperature. So the wavelength is going to be, inversely proportional. That means the high temperature the body, the wavelength will be shorter. If the low temperature body is there, the wavelength will be longer. And as a result of temperature, because the sun is a body having high very, very high temperature. Therefore, the wavelengths are shorter. The sun's insolation therefore sun's insolation or solar radiation, or we can write therefore insolation is consists of short waves. Short waves. If you remember the previous lecture, we have discussed that greenhouse gas effect. What is the greenhouse gas effect? It is an effect in which the incoming short wave radiations are allowed to pass by the gases, while the outgoing long wave radiations are trapped by the gases. Incoming solar energy, because it is consisting of a short waves, the greenhouse gases or the glass or the water vapor allows this to pass, but it traps the short waves which are emitted by the earth, because the earth is not of very high temperature. Earth receives its heat from the solar energy, gets heated up and then gives away long waves. So the terrestrial radiation, iska matlab earth ka radiation, are in the form of a long waves. Why? As per this principle. Which principle? Wend's displacement law, which says that the wavelength is inversely proportional to the temperature of emitting body. Therefore, the terrestrial radiation or Earth's radiation is consist of long waves. So know this, long waves are terrestrial radiation and short waves are solar radiation. Therefore, insolation is short waves and terrestrial radiation is in the form of an long waves. And now here how you to have to remember, apply to your practical life. If you park a car on a very hot day directly under the sun without a shade, and if you go out, the next time you come to car, you have the car is like an oven or like a microwave, very hot from inside. Why? Because the solar radiation, the glass which is transparent to short waves, allows the solar radiation to go inside the car. It heats up the inside of the car, and फिर बाद में the long wave radiations which are produced after heating of the car are trapped. इसके वजह से car gets hot up. And आप क्या करते हो फिर next? Then the first thing you do is not put on the AC. First thing you do is open the windows so that the long wave radiations are allowed to escape, and उसके बाद then the temperature becomes somewhat bearable so that you can sit in the vehicle. The same thing you can apply here, that the sun's energy is insolation is in the form of a short waves, and the terrestrial radiation is in the form of long waves, or this is known as an Earth's radiation are in the form of a long waves. And the greenhouse gas effect is due to the trapping of long wave radiation. It is also known as an glass effect. और ये कहाँ use होता है? It is used to it is used to produce agriculture. It is used to produce food crops, because food crops cannot be produced in cold climate, extremely cold or frigid climate. So obviously some amount of heat is required. प्रोडक्टिविटी के लिए कुछ अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी और हीट इज रिक्वायर्ड, इसलिए एग्रीकल्चर इज नॉट पॉसिबल इन एक्सट्रीमली कोल्ड क्लाइमेट. इसलिए लेह लद्दाख जैसे एरियाज में और इन द पोलर रीजन्स food crops, agriculture crops are grown in glass. Why? Because of utilizing this greenhouse effect. What is a greenhouse effect? Long wave radiations are trapped, short wave radiations are allowed to go inside. Now the insolation, the sun's insolation. The solar radiation is in the form of electromagnetic waves. These are in the form of, is released in the form of, are in form of electromagnetic waves. Are in the form of an electromagnetic waves. These waves are expressed in the terms of wavelength. These waves are expressed in the terms of an wavelength, and obviously wavelength is inversely proportional to frequency. These are expressed in the terms of an wavelength, that is what is the length of an wave. So the solar radiation is in the form of an electromagnetic radiation, and it is expressed in the form of an wavelength. Now the solar radiation is comes in the form of an spectrum, not just the light what we say. The solar radiation consists of visible light जो हम देख सकते हैं, which we feel. It also consists of infrared. It also consists of ultraviolet. It also consists of radio waves. This entire wave, this entire solar radiation comes in the form of a spectrum of waves, which can be utilized for different processes. That is, the ultraviolet rays are absorbed by, remember the previous lecture, by the stratosphere because of the presence of an ozone gas. Visible light is the light which we can see, and then is the infrared, and then is the radio waves. So based on the wavelength, so if the question comes in the examination that what are the different wavelengths, or arrange the wavelengths of different lights in ascending or descending order, you can have a look at the diagram here. The electromagnetic radiation and is emitted in form of spectrum. It is emitted in the form of spectrum having different wavelengths. Having different wavelengths and frequency. You know that wavelength is inversely related to frequency. Wavelength is inversely related to frequency. It is emitted in the form of a spectrum having different wavelengths and frequency. What are the spectrums of? What are these different spectrums? The spectrum consists of short wavelength, long wavelength, medium wavelength, and long wavelength. So the short wavelength consists of gamma rays, X-rays, UV rays, the shorter wavelength consists of UV rays, gamma rays and X-rays. The medium wavelength consists of visible light, which further consists of the visible light consists of violet rays, then blue, green, yellow, and red. And lastly, the long wavelength consists of infrared and the radio waves. The long wavelength consists of infrared and the radio waves. So if the question comes in the wavelength, this is the shortest wavelength and this is the longest wavelength. So what insolation consists of? Insolation consists of short wavelength, medium wavelength, so visible light, which is a medium wavelength. The visible light is also further divided into violet, blue, green, yellow and red, with ascending order of wavelengths is least is violet, then blue, then green, then yellow and the red. So if the question comes which in the among the visible light which is having the highest wavelength, it is red which is having the highest wavelength, while violet is having the least wavelength. Then comes the long wavelength, which consists of infrared and radio waves. To make you understand, just look at this. This is the shorter wavelength. I am dividing it. This is the visible light region and this is the long wavelength region. So this is how the division is possible. So you remember, right from starting from G, X, U, that is gamma, X-rays and UV rays are consist of the short wavelength. Medium wavelength consists of violet, visible light, which is further divided into violet, blue, green, yellow and red. The red is having the highest wavelength, and the long wave, that is, these are the longest wavelengths, that is of shorter frequency. This long waves consist of infrared and radio waves and microwaves or TV waves, which are used for communication. Visible light, we feel the visible heat from here. UV rays are utilized by the ozone, or they engage in a photochemical reaction and therefore we do not feel, but obviously they all give the heat. So this is how the spectrum is made up of. So the electromagnetic spectrum consists of this different kind of the electromagnetic spectrum. Insolation consists of an electromagnetic spectrum which further consists of different wavelengths, and these wavelengths are in the form of gamma rays, X-rays, UV rays, violet rays, blue rays, green rays, yellow rays, red rays, infrared rays and the radio waves. Now looking at the next topic, have you understood? Now this can be the question of geography, this can be the question of science, and it has been a common question. One of the most common question is arrange them in the descending order, ascending order, generally in the ascending order as per the wavelength. Agar frequency पूछी, arrange them in the ascending order of frequency. याद रखना, wavelength is inversely proportional to frequency. So सबसे कम frequency and सबसे ज़्यादा frequency. So our visible light is in the medium frequency only. So in the terms of frequency, the increasing order is this way. In the terms of wavelength, the increasing order is this way. But in the terms of frequency, ये है increasing order. So we can write low frequency and high frequency. And high frequency. Now, is the insolation same? Now, we'll do the next topic is the distribution of insolation. Distribution of insolation. Is the amount of insolation same? Does each and every part placed on the earth gets the same amount of insolation? Or is there any difference in the amount of insolation? The answer is in your mind itself. That is, do we get the same amount of insolation during the summer season as we get the amount of insolation during the winter season? What is the first thing that when I say winter, what is the first thing that comes in your mind? It is the coldness. क्यों cold है? Because the amount of insolation is less. Summers में why it is very warm and hot? Because the amount of insolation is very high. What is the difference between Kashmir and Chennai during the winter season or during the summer season also? Where will you prefer to go on a picnic? Generally speaking, if I am speaking of a normal choice of a person, they will like to go to the cold places or hill stations during the summer season for some vacations. Why? And the best choice is either Shimla, Kulu Manali picnic or the Himalayan region. And now, if the budget permits, the choice is even Europe, which is higher up. If the budget permits, even in the Europe, it is the Scandinavian countries or the higher part of Europe or Australia, New Zealand. Nobody likes to enjoy the weather in hot, sultry and humid climate. That is hot and humid where you are just sweating. Nobody likes. That means why this difference is there? Because this difference is there due to the difference in the insolation. I won't go too much deep in the amount of insolation because we have already done this. How does the amount of insolation differ? In which season does it differ? What is one of the reason for seasons? This is the difference in the amount of insolation is one of the primary reason for seasons. But why this insolation differs? Because of the rotation and revolution of the earth. And the rotation of the earth is not on the straight line, but at the axis of 66.5 degrees to the plane or 23.5 degrees to the earth's axis. The earth is tilted in this way, resulting into different amount of insolation, and hence we have summer solstice in the northern hemisphere on June 21st, जब सबसे ज़्यादा when the sun is there exactly on the tropic of, this is how the tilt is there in the earth's axis. If this is the equator, this is the tropic of Cancer, this is the tropic of Capricorn. During the summer season, on June 21st, the sun is located here, and hence the sun's rays directly fall on the tropic of Cancer, resulting into summer solstice. June 21st. What is the effect? In the northern hemisphere there is summer, while in the southern hemisphere there is winter. On the other hand, when the sun is there in the middle of the earth, both the parts of the earth, the sun's rays directly fall on the equator, hence there is equal day and equal night on all part of the earth, what we call as an equinox. Which are the two dates of an equinox? Why it is known as equinox? Equal day, equal night. Equinox, it falls on 21st of March or 22nd of September. And when the sun is in the southern hemisphere, जब हम northern hemisphere में, we are experiencing the winter season. Why we are experiencing the winter season? Because we are getting less amount of insolation. क्यों हमें less amount of insolation मिल रहा है? Because the sun is here and its rays are falling directly on the 23.5 degree south, 0 degree equator, 23.5 degree north. So because the sun's rays are here, हमें directly sun's rays नहीं मिलते, and what we call this as winter solstice. ये कब होता है? On 22nd of December. On this day there is a winter season in the northern hemisphere, and hence in this season, during the winter season in the northern hemisphere, we are experiencing the shortest day and the longest night. So that means there is a difference in the distribution of insolation, and for this refer latitude and longitude chapter. Along with the rotation and revolution of the Earth's chapter. So you now know that there is a difference in the amount of insolation. Which are the areas जहां सबसे ज्यादा insolation है? It is India is also located. It is between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. In these two areas are known as the tropics, because in this region there is high amount of insolation throughout the year. Why high amount of insolation? Because at least once in a year, or at least two times in a year, not once, 2 times in a year, this area receives vertical sun rays or direct sun rays, or the sun's rays are perpendicular. You remember that the sun's rays agar perpendicular hai, तो they will transmit more amount of energy. This is one of the factor affecting insolation, जो मैं बाद में कराऊंगा. But you know that there is a difference in the amount of insolation. So the distribution of insolation, or we can say in the distribution of insolation, it differs according to the latitudes. It differs as per the latitudes. That is the area between the tropics. (23.5 degree north and 23.5 degree south, along with the equator. These are the regions which are known as the tropics. This receive high amount of insolation. This receives high amount of insolation because they experience the overhead sun at least twice in a year, and the equatorial regions experience the overhead sun throughout the year. इसलिए equator में there are no seasons, एक ही type का climate है. During every day there is a hot humid climate, 4 o'clock rainfall due to convectional currents. That is equator पे, exactly on the equator, same type of a climate, hot and humid climate. हमेशा रोज बारिश होगी. Every day there will be hot and humid climate. You will be sweating all the day. The kind of a climate which we experience generally in Chennai or Mumbai, because they are located near the seashore. Same type of a climate. There is no difference in the seasons. एक ही type of a climate on the equator. On other hand, as you go away from the equator, there are seasons. जब आप Tropic of Cancer, tropical region cross करते हो, that is in India. India is located here. This tropics cuts the Indian subcontinent exactly into 2 parts. That is why once you cross Madhya Pradesh, once you cross Vindhyan ranges, या आप north में जैसे आते हो, then you will feel that there is in the North India you feel there is a summer season, there is a winter season, there is a autumn, there is a spring season. But अगर आप साउथ इंडिया में रहते हो, especially in the coastal regions, वैसे भी southern part में if you see India, it is tapering. So the amount of influence of sea water या maritime influence जो है, it is more in the southern part of India because it is tapering, it is narrow downwards. और जैसे जैसे नीचे जाओगे और ज्यादा narrow है. And if you remember your school days, you must be knowing, जितना आप पानी के नजदीक हो, ओशन के नजदीक हो, सी के नजदीक हो, that is known as a maritime climate, in which there is a equable climate. जितना आप ओशन से दूर हो, that is an continental or extreme climate. What is extreme climate? Summers के time extreme heat, winters के time extreme cold. But you won't find this type of a climate in Chennai, you won't find this type of a climate in Andaman Nicobar, you won't find such type of a climate in Kolkata, nor in Mumbai, which are the coastal cities having equal, बहुत ज्यादा वेरिएशन नहीं है क्लाइमेट में. अंडमान निकोबार में तो बिल्कुल भी वेरिएशन नहीं, बिकॉज इट इज नियर द इक्वेटर. बट वंस यू क्रॉस द ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर, you will find that India में there is a variation in the climate. The more you are going away from Tropic of Cancer, you come to the Himalayan region, you will see snowfall also during the winter season. Why? That is because of the difference in the amount of insolation. So in the tropical regions, these are the regions which receive high amount of insolation. In fact, the equator receives high amount of insolation throughout the year. The next is the temperate belt of the world, that is between 66.5 degree north and 66.5 degree south. This region receive insolation based on the seasons. अगर sun is in the northern hemisphere, this region will receive high insolation, summer season. If the sun is in the southern hemisphere, this region will receive very less insolation, winter season. And if you look at the beyond the Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle, in the polar region, these are regions where there is no or very very less amount of insolation, because as the sun, even if the sun is in the northern hemisphere, ऐसा तो नहीं होता कि polar regions में there is very very high amount of insolation या बहुत गर्मी पड़ रही है. Polar regions are the regions which are having winter, which are having snowfall throughout the year. What is the reason? This is because the angle of sun's rays or the angle of the insolation, that is one of the factors affecting insolation. So these are the polar regions which are primarily receive less insolation, and therefore we can call them as heat deficit regions. मतलब heat कम है, while we can call them as a heat surplus regions. So the amount of distribution of the insolation varies. Tropics में there is high amount of insolation throughout the year, as a result heat surplus region. And the polar region में there is low amount of insolation, therefore heat deficit region. This heat surplus, heat deficit region results into transfer of heat from the heat surplus region to the heat deficit region through ocean current, through winds, through that drives the entire climate, and hence we are studying the climatology part. So this distribution of insolation, now what we can say, it is the distribution of insolation is not same at every place on the globe. The tropical regions receive high amount of insolation throughout the region. The temperate regions, in the temperate regions, high amount of insolation in the northern hemisphere during the summer season and low insolation during the winter season. And the same logic can be applied to the temperate region, and the polar regions are the regions जहाँ पे insolation is deficit or heat deficit areas throughout the year. Now what are these different factors which affect the insolation? Now this is an important question which can be asked for you in both preliminary examination and the mains examination. That is our next topic. is the factors affecting distribution of insolation. Now, this is an important topic, conceptual topic, that is the factors affecting distribution of insolation. And I am again telling you this is different from the factors affecting the temperature distribution. We are just talking of insolation, not temperature. Difference is insolation is solar radiation, which is one of the factor for temperature. Temperature is what is the exact amount of heat we can feel. So the two different topics here are insolation, and now the next topic is factors affecting distribution of insolation.